get it across for all the different teams on working on the project.
Right. I think you nailed it down really well. It's the communication. It's lack of communication within the company and outside of the company with the customer as well. We're not doing a good job. If we are this company, we're not doing a good job trying to understand the customer need. That's huge in systems engineering, in project management. Understanding the customer need is a huge domain. I think some of it also Dr. Jared, mentioned it last week as well. Asking questions, what, why, how, when, all these things, and thinking out of the box and providing some more solutions than they describe us. Uh, it's a huge topic. It's very important. Most of the time, you're not gonna see it in your companies because projects are taking long time, and not everybody. When you join the company, you're not gonna start from the first day of the project. It's gonna be in the middle somewhere, and then you're gonna join the project. You will never see how the customer needs were collected in the beginning. You're just gonna work with the requirements already formed, right? So, but I say you will be lucky if you start a project just from the scratch, like starting to get the customer needs and trying to explore what they need. That's a lot of fun. Yes, Felix?
Hi, Dr. K, can you hear me?
Hey, yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Good. Yeah, I just have something to add. I think
Of course.
part of the reason is like you said, miscommunication, and also a lot of assumptions, like the company, the employees of the company are making the wrong assumptions, and they did not ask further questions to clarify what exactly does the customer want. Like do you want hanging by the tree, like how to the right of the tree, or exactly what do you want? You need to interview the customer to
Exactly.
clarify.
Hmm. Excellent. You want to interview, there's like 20 techniques to do that. You have some forms, interview surveys. You can observe them. You can be one of them and stay in the company for a week and see what they're doing in the warehouse, the one that Dr. Jarrett described, to see really what the problem is, not what they are thinking of the problem is, but you can see with your own eyes what the problem is. Okay, excellent. Really good contribution. Thank you, Felix. So definition of a project, I always like to give some definitions. It's not that I want you to memorize it, but some of the definitions are sometimes helpful. For example, project definition: temporary endeavor undertaking to create a unique product, service, or results. Okay. You may see some other definitions as well. I'm going to show you one more. But what I like here is temporary. It should be something temporary, and then it should create something unique. Okay. It should be temporary and it should be unique. So it ends when the objectives have been reached. But believe me, it's not always being reached. Okay, sometimes we can't reach the objectives, and we're gonna see some case studies, and the project has been terminated. It's not always a bad thing. Did anyone experience this? So the project you have been working is getting terminated. That's not always bad. It may be bad for you, but from a portfolio perspective and the company perspective, it may not be always the bad thing. Okay, but it ends. Projects ends. Okay, when the objectives have been reached or it's terminated. They can be large or small. A project can be large or small. It doesn't mean that it's not a project. Okay, and it can take longer time or shorter time, but it's not a routine operation. If you are in a factory and from the manufacturing line, a car comes to you and you always screw the tires, right? You always do the same thing, routine. That's not a project. You are in a hotel, you are serving breakfast every day, same thing. It's not a project. You are in the cashier at McDonald's, working 8 hours. It's not a project. If it's routine, it's not a project. It should be temporary, and you should create something unique. And most of you know what is difference between product, service, or result, or combination of those. So again, from another perspective, but same thing, temporary, unique, right? Temporary, unique. So this is actually a quiz question that I'm going to ask. What are common themes? Well, it's temporary and unique. I want you to always remember that. When you go to interviews, if someone asks you, what do you know about projects, definitions or fundamentals, say projects should be temporary and they should be unique, and give some examples like I did, okay? All right, unique. So examples, pyramids, that's a project, right? Long or small, longer time or shorter time, that's fine. Can be more complex, easy, that's fine, it's project. Building a bridge, Tempe Lake, building the Tempe Lake in Arizona, Phoenix is a project. A city, how about an app? An app can be a project as well, it's remember, what's our ruler? Temporary and unique. Classes, do you think teaching a class is a project? Sure, it's a project. Or getting a class is a project too. Being a student in the class may be a project too, right? What project management, you can read those. It's not really important, but what's important about project management is time, scope, and cost, right? What we call iron triangle or triple constraints in the project management. Probably some of you heard about it, but I want to say, what is not project management? What is not project management? Okay, I want to say a few things about that because you'll see some supervisors, some employers that think when they download a project management software, they solve the problem. Or when they hire a project manager or assistant project manager, everything is solved. No, it's not working like that. It's not a magic. Project management is a culture, right? You have to talk about the same culture, the same language. You have to, like when I say scope or work breakdown structure, everyone in the company should be understanding what I mean. At least they need to know how to read it and how to extract their tasks from WBS, right? So just downloading one thing or a software or hiring a project manager or assistant project manager is not going to help you. Okay. So it's a culture. It's all together. So the company should have a culture of project management. Sometimes they establish a project management office, PMO, and they think PMO will be doing everything. No, it's not flying that way too. Then we have the project manager, right? Now you have it. Official job description says project manager. Project manager. Who do they work for? Let me ask you this. For whom does the project manager work? You can write in the chat too. Let's see. I have not looked at the chat for it. Yes, all slides will be posted. That's right. Right. Yeah, Patrick. They are responsible for whom?
Usually who the customer is, but the main stakeholder or the person who hires you.
Right. The main stakeholders are probably the ones that you are responsible, but it's a little bit more than that. Being a project manager is a little bit tricky. You are responsible to sponsors, like you said, you are also responsible to your project team with all this planning, right? You're going to plan and probably they will implement or they will monitor the implementation. We are also responsible for suppliers and end users, and they don't have to always be end users, right? That's why I said users. Your next department can be a user as well, and some other people who can be some other people. Maybe if you are, don't always think that project managers are doing something, a product or service to make money. Sometimes we do, public projects, and there our users can be like the residents of the city, right? So they can be basically our users and customers too. They are not paying us directly really, but indirectly, right? From the tax dollars and everything, they are paying us. So we are responsible. We're not only responsible to our company. Probably your program manager will say, you know what? Satisfy everybody, not only me. You have to satisfy users, the business, the contractors, of course, your company, like your boss in the company, whoever is supervising you. But your project interest lies in here, in the middle somewhere. And your success as a project manager also lies in this. So you have to juggle all these different parts to be successful. Okay, so as a project manager, if you only want to satisfy your program manager, you will not be a good project manager. Okay, you have to be successfully managing all these expectations from everybody. All right. Process, we'll go into this a lot, but just I want to say, you are lucky if you start with this here, like enter the phase, start project, and then initiating the process. Where we really get the customer requirements is basically, let me change the color here. Change the color. So you're basically getting the customer requirements somewhere here. So you're lucky if you start in this process here, and then you plan the process, which we're gonna do in the early weeks. We're gonna do the work breakdown structure. We're gonna think about the scope and statement of work, right? And then we will move into the execution. And then if you notice right here, that's a repetitive process, right? So you go over here and then plan and execute, plan and execute. And then at one time, when the objectives are met, or the company decides to terminate the project for a lot of reasons, then you close out the project and exit. Okay, so I really want to emphasize that closing a process and there's an exit phase, right? Here as well, there's an enter phase and then initiating phase. So these are kind of high level. Exit phase and enter phase is kind of high level, you know. Initiation is really within the project now, everything's set in the stone and you're really officially starting the project. So that's why I want to see the enter phase and exit phase as well. As a project manager, probably you'll spend your most of the time in planning, and a lot of your supervision time to execution. So most of the time you're going to be making the planning and monitoring and supervising the execution, because if you don't supervise, there will be things that are done wrong and it's going to be low quality and rework and a lot of more cost to the project, which will bite you back. So you cannot just say, hey, we plan it and then they will execute it. And after they execute, I'm going to see it. No, we should be involved in the execution phase as well. But again, depends on where you land on the project with your company. They may be closing the project too, right? And you may be working in multiple projects. In some of them, you will be in different phases. So be aware when you land in a project, be aware which phase are they in. So things will make more sense. If you are always talking to customer and trying to get the requirements, they are in the beginning. If they are trying to get the lessons learned and closing it and then trying to, file it away and document the project, then they are probably closing the project. So that's what we're going to talk about more. So triple constraint, you already know this, time, cost, requirements, iron triangle. Again, as a project manager, not only you'll satisfy, sponsors, your own program manager, the customers and everybody, you'll also be skillful to juggle time, cost, and requirements, because they impact each other. A change in one will impact the others. So that's why you will be monitoring all these three and even a little bit more. In some references, time is also named as schedule, cost is budget, and scope is requirements. All right. Budget is a function of scope and schedule. But there's a points to ponder here, which as most of you, I guess, software engineers, and you will quickly realize that, budget is not always scope and schedule, right? It can be, this is my caveat here. scope can be the function of budget and scheduling sometimes. So this is kind of the traditional thinking. Okay, for example, if I want to make a website for my company, one of you will make it, right? A lot of you are software engineers. Instead of scope and schedule to budget, I can tell you I have $10,000, then I can give you $10,000 and then you guys can decide actually what is the best scope and what is the timeline for $10,000. But if I give you $20,000, then you'll do a better website and maybe shorter timeline, right? So sometimes scope is a function of budget and schedule, right? But in the traditional thinking, we come up with the scope and we create this work breakdown structure and everything, and then calculate the cost. That's kind of traditional thinking. When you think in agile terms and Scrum, and mostly in software engineers again, then scope might be a function of budget and schedule. Okay, could you understand the difference a little bit? Do I need to explain a little bit more? Okay. Like I said, it's not only these ones. A project manager also needs to look at the communication, like in the first slide that we talked. Risk, that's why you have the project risk management in 2 weeks here. Satisfaction of the customer and quality. We're not going to look into quality really because it's a huge topic, but we're going to look in the satisfaction and communication in professional development sections and then risk in this session as well. Okay. So your performance as a project manager is really, really difficult. So don't think that project management is an easy job. It's not really easy. Okay, it's not real easy. And I'm glad you are here to learn a little bit more about those. And forming teams and discussions. Let's see, what is this?
Only one choice. We're working for. Ring cannot be destroyed, Imi, son of Floyd, by any craft we here possess. The ring was made in the fires of Mount Doom. There, taken deep into Mordor and cast back into the fiery chasm from whence it came. One of you. There is evil there. Fire. It is fine.
Have you heard nothing Lord Elrond has said? The ring must be destroyed.
I suppose you think you're the one to do it.
And if we fail, what then? What happens when Sauron takes back what is his?
I will be dead before I see the ring in the hands of an elf. So much.
I'm sorry, I'm having a big challenge in watching the video because my connection is so slow.
I will take the ring to Mordor.
My life or death.
And you have my vote.
And my axe. This was always one. House.
Mr. Frodo's not going anywhere without me.
No, indeed, it is hardly possible to separate you even when he is summoned to a secret council.
Okay, so you see, it's diverse team, right? You have my sword, my axe. So in the team, you don't want to have all people with swords. So that's why diversity is really important. But which project phase are they in? You can write in the chat as well. Which project phase? Let me
Think
go
the
back to
inception.
here. Let me go back to, what's that?
Inception, the initiation of the
Right,
project.
initiation, right? And they probably entered it because they want to do it, but they are initiating the project and then trying to plan it, right? Are they there? No, but they are considering the risks and team and what to do, right? So they are in the planning phase and initiation phase as well, right? So that's what I was gonna say. So whatever you land in your job, it's gonna be different. So and there's this thing called program managers as well, right? So if you never read about it, so projects are the lowest level. And then one higher level, we have the programs, and then we have the portfolio. But in this slide, I kind of say kind of hierarchy because it's not always like that. So projects are in a company, there are a lot of projects, there are a few programs, and there's 1 or 2, 3 portfolio, right? But it's not always in hierarchy like this. It's not like a military hierarchy, you know. Sometimes you will have projects that are directly connected to portfolio. Sometimes you will have programs with another program and projects. I think that's a nice hierarchy, right? Project, program, and portfolio. But you will sometimes have portfolio under portfolio, and then programs under programs, and then projects. But you will have projects directly connected to portfolio as well. So it's kind of a hierarchy. So if you see a project manager that is reporting the portfolio manager, then don't be surprised because it may be, and there may be a lot of reasons for that. Maybe the company wants to control the budget more. Maybe the budget is huge. Maybe it's a new technology project, right? Maybe they want to see every phase and monitor and control that project a little bit less bureaucracy, right? It's a new thing, so it needs to be dynamic. Sometimes they just connect the project to their higher level, right? Some other well-known, well-done, you know, always repeating projects, maybe under some other programs, just like a bureaucracy. Okay, so don't be surprised if you see that. That's why I said kind of hierarchy. Okay, but know the hierarchy: project, program, portfolio. What are the difference? Can we differentiate? Yeah, most of the time, yes, we can, because projects are driven by deliverables. They are usually shorter timeline. Short doesn't mean like 1 month. 2 or 3 years can be short as well. It has bounded and scope deliverables. So it's clear for them what to deliver and when. So these are project and benefits realized during and after project closure, right? When you deliver those things, whatever you are expecting, whatever objective you had, it's done. It's shorter time scale, you know, it doesn't mean that a few months, it can be a few years as well, versus the programs driven by vision of end state, which is very different than the driven by deliverables. So it's very different. And they don't have a predefined path. So you can basically go this way and then go this way and then go this way, depending on business needs, right? Business capability changes, your program may change. Benefits realized during and afterwards, that's also important. So actually delivering it, not realizing the project objectives. After you deliver, what happens is realizing the project and they are longer time scale, think about as building a submarine takes 10 years, 20 years, right? Or some of the aircrafts, especially the military aircrafts, right? Takes 20 years to build. So it's even not a program, it's probably a portfolio, right? But it's not a project really. Okay. So let's do a Zoom room, okay? Quick Zoom room for a few minutes. I want you to decide which one is a project and why. I am more interested in the why section. So programming fundamentals course, quality control course, or ASU 101 course that you took versus earning your undergrad degree versus your landing on a job after your graduation successfully. Okay, so let's do a quick Zoom room for that. And I want you to find out if they are projects, program, and portfolio. And I'm more interested in why. Okay, let me see. Breakout rooms. And I want you to also chit chat a little bit with each other. Okay, so I'm gonna give you 3 minutes for that. Mm. All right. Does any team want to contribute on that one? What did you find out? What did you decide? Okay. Warming up. So Yes, Patrick, thank you.
I was gonna say, I mean, all three technically would be projects if you had like an end result at which you were getting, like you had a goal that you were succeeding in, or there's a finished product. So like programming fundamentals, you get a certificate. Earning undergraduate degree is supports the completion with the degree. And landing a job would be getting a job, but you would have to have like a specific set of goals and everything you started out with to get there.
Hmm, okay, so your team basically decided all of them are projects, kind of? Okay,
I would say they all can be projects.
can be projects, okay, cool.
You have to define them better.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else? Any team? Who's
If
that
I
talking?
can, sorry, Anas.
You got
here.
NS, okay, yes, NS.
So for the first one, we were programming fundamental quality control or ASU 101 course.
Let's open this.
If it is bound by time, if there are specific, there's a specific output, which is the course. There are requirements that need to be collected. Yeah, it could be a project.
Mhm.
Earn a graduate degree as well. It could be a project. But the last one, I felt that it's not under your control. You apply for the job, but it's not managed by you. It is you.
Mhm.
No, I just
You
want to
can,
see the memes are so funny, so I just want
yeah.
It's not about UNS, I guess they're just open mic.
Yeah, yeah. So basically, I felt it's not under your control. It is something you do apply and it's controlled by others. It could be a project for the person who's doing the recruitment, not for you as a person who is searching to be recruited.
Mhm.
That's my analysis, but
Okay,
But-
no, good analysis. Vivek, the last comment, yeah.
Yes, I was actually thinking like the first category, the course or any kind, that was a more a shorter period.
By the
It
way,
is-
Vivek, I changed the slide. If you guys can take a look at it again. Yes, Vivek.
Yeah. So it's a very short-term thing for a course or something. are exams that you have to attend the class. It's a very specific set of deliverables.
Mm-hmm.
I was considering it as a more of a 4-year or 5-year kind of a project, but I think it fits more into the program definition because there is no predefined path. You can take electives, you can take a break, you can do summer internships. So I was thinking more of as a program kind of a thing, and landing a job, I think it's more of like a portfolio kind of a thing.
Maybe open that one, right? This one.
Yes.
Mhm. Right. I was kind of thinking similarly. So looking at this one, y- okay, let's find out. She, can you mute yourself? Yeah, I muted you. That's fine. Okay, so I would think the course would be more project, because look at this, driven by deliverables, you have assignments, you have quizzes. It starts at, for example, August 8th and then ends on 6th of December, and we have to, publish the grades by this day, whatever. And then it's bounded, it's scoped, it's really hard to change the content, right? It's what it is in the syllabus. We go by deliverables, it's shorter time scale. But if you look at your undergraduate degree, we have a lot of students changing their degree from technology management to industrial engineering or computer science to, even they go to like interdisciplinary studies and stuff like that, so program is really driven by the vision and end state, right? You can change your vision, and I can say, can I be a double major, right? Can I change to engineering and stuff like that? Or maybe you didn't like engineering, you want to go to some other, interdisciplinary studies or project management studies or leadership entrepreneurial studies. So it's really like no predefined path. You can change your vision and you can change your path. And usually benefits are realized afterwards. So when you graduate, hopefully you're going to find a job, you're going to get your transcript, and really what will happen is you're going to get later. The benefits will be later a little bit. So in the portfolio, I was thinking landing on a job, would be a kind of portfolio, because you have to do a lot more than what's going on in the classroom. Like you're attending this course and you're basically spending a lot of time in the summer. You will,
right? You will spend a lot of time. So that will help you landing on a job. Just taking regular courses and getting your credits, check mark is not going to help you. So it's kind of, and this is what we will cover in systems thinking as well. You should think of your life as a system and what are the parts. So landing on a job is kind of the highest level. And under that, there may be, as a program, earning your undergraduate degree. You can change your degree. You can change universities. You can transfer your credits. You can do all kinds of stuff. But with the one course, there's not much to do. So it can be considered projects. Again, we don't really differentiate everything by project or portfolio. The company will label them on behalf of you anyways. But this is kind of how you should think of portfolio and project and program. Okay? Good discussion. You're going to spend most of your time in the planning and monitoring, really. Okay? I really don't want to go into detail on here. I want to go to the project work breakdown structure. So WBS, if you've never heard about it, if you never did one, that's going to help you a lot if you start thinking in WBS terms, which is work breakdown structure. Okay. It's basically dividing your project deliverables into smaller and manageable chunks. Like I showed you in the first slides, right? I said, these are our lectures, these are our deliverables, these are our quizzes. It's basically manageable chunks and smaller chunks that we can actually complete and check it and then continue with the other deliverable, right? That's what we do in the WBS. It's part of the planning. Let me tell you, most of the engineers don't like it. Okay, but it helps a lot. It helps a lot in the planning. The reason why we don't like it, because when you write something, then now you are self-imposing rules on yourself, right? Now you have to send it to stakeholders and everyone will know, so you have to commit with it. So most of the time we don't like planning, but we have to, it helps a lot. It's deliverable oriented and hierarchical decomposition of the work. So let me show you this one. Okay, so it can be hardware related, function related, or time related. So you're gonna say, let's say you're gonna build a house, right? First, you can say, I'm gonna get a building permits from the city. And then I'm gonna bring the materials. I'm gonna do the floor, and I'm gonna do the first floor. I'm gonna do the second floor, and I'm gonna do the backyard, and I'm gonna finalize it. That is time sequence. Okay, let's say you're doing you're looking into a car. You can say the engine of the car is one WBS, part of WBS. You can say tires, you can say electrical components. You can say computer software components is another part of WBS. This is kind of hardware. And the function wise, you can also say what are the function, what functions are this system or project is delivering, and then you can build in terms of functions your WBS. And how it really looks is, it helps a lot, but we're going to continue this a little bit. So it really looks something like that. So there are different versions. So you can just indent it like this: level 1, whatever is the project, and then what is the level 2 major subsystem, task, subtask, and work package. I guess the work package is the most important thing here, and we're going to cover that in detail. It's very important. That's one way to do it. I'm going to show you a few other ways. So you can write it like this. So whatever is the project major subsystem. So remember, in this subsystem, there's 2 tasks, task 1, task 2, and then this subtask 1, subtask 1. Okay, so these are the unique numbers that you need to give in your work breakdown structure. We have to cover this a little bit more next time, but probably you saw something like that previously, but that's not an organizational chart. Okay, probably in your company, in some of the internship, the companies you did internship, you'll see something like that, but it's usually org chart where you have the names and telephone numbers and the connections of the job descriptions, right? Who is reporting who.
but that's not that. That's WBS, but it's an org chart description, how we use the org chart description. So I really recommend you to use this in your personal, academic, and professional life. It really helps your mind and thinking, bring together the ideas. It's really good. I will talk about those a little bit more next time, but I want to show you the different. I'm going to show you the different types, and then I'm going to finish here. So this is mind map. Okay, I really enjoy using this one. So when you have an interview, when you're up to something, you know, you have a test, a quiz or something, use mind map. There's a lot of softwares that you can use to build this, but it can be as easy as a pen and a pencil. Just write your ideas and branch them out like this one. That is org chart style. You know, that's also easy. Just write, for example, like I said, this can be an engine and what's under the engine, right? And then you can do this relationship and hierarchy. Or if you don't like drawing, you can just write it as simple as this one. You can just say conference, for example, if you're organizing a conference, venue, and what is under venue, attendees, what's under attendees. But if you're really good at planning, if you really like something you do every month, every year, you know all bits and pieces, every little detail, then I recommend you guys to use this one. This one is tricky. We call it waterfall WBS. It's tricky because it has arrows. You know, I'm going to show you more in next time, but it has arrows and it shows precedence. So what is coming after which action, what is coming after which action is done. That's difficult. Don't use that in something you're doing first time. You don't know the details much. Don't use that. But if you have all the details screwed up, then you can use this one. Because if you want to change something here, then you need to understand all the relationships. You have to adjust all the arrows and everything. So it's going to be really difficult, but it will help your team and sponsors a lot because it gives every detail and they can actually extract their work easier because the arrows here shows you what's happening right before your action and what's going to happen after your action. If you do it really correctly and not much update needed, I recommend this one. If you're just starting, if it's something new idea, new product, I want you to go to mind map and use it. Okay. So we're going to cover that a little bit more. It's 12:15. As I promised, after this, we're going to look into WBS a little bit next week and then dive into scope and resources and statement of work. So I want you to think about how you move from planning WBS and then turn it into scope statement and statement of work. Okay. So it's 12:15 as promised. I'm closing out. Okay. I'll keep
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to keep the recording open just in case, you have questions. Thank you. This was really good for the first session. Thanks you for all the contribution. That's wonderful.
Thank you.
So let's see if anyone has a question. I'll stick around for 10 minutes, 15 minutes. If you have personal questions, I'm happy to talk about them as well. Thank you for being here and investing in yourself. Okay, yeah, thank you.
Teşekkürler.
Thank you, Enes.
If anyone doesn't
Yes, if anyone has, I think Dr. Janet is here too. So if anyone has any project related questions, maybe you can ask as well.
I have a quick question. So yes, Dr. K, yeah, this was very helpful. So I'm a second year PhD student.
Oh
I'm
my
just
goodness.
curious.
Why did you do that? Why are you torturing? Oh, maybe we should close this. Let me